Hey everybody, this is Jeff Coventry, coach at Immaculata, here with another important linebacker on the OHSF All-Decade list. As always, I'll let him do his own introductions. Take it away.
Hey guys, I'm Jordan Rivest. I'm currently a linebacker at Carleton University, third year standing. I attended St. Pete's in second semester of grade 11. Played my football season there in grade 12. We had an amazing season. I come from a background where I move around a lot. Come from Alberta and Montreal. Started my football experiences in 1 year in Montreal. I played for Alexander Rough Riders in 2012. We had a rough year, but it was a year of experience, a way to teach me that hard work pays off. And I took a couple years off when I moved to Alberta. As soon as I went there, I decided that, especially being around people that are so a place where it's so Americanized, I decided to just play football again. And from there, I started at 15, and I was playing with 18-year-olds off the get-go. My Coach Lowry, believed in me. Coach Major believed in me. And I had amazing trainers like Corey Gillespie. They taught me everything I needed to know. And from then on, I was always looking for something to go get, something bigger, something to achieve.
Yeah. And for those who don't know the high school scene in Alberta, can you describe it a little bit? And even the community scene, there's a big mesh between the two, right? And they're really cohesive. And I know definitely out at Shouldice Park and whatnot, that place is bumping. They got lots of turf fields there, and a lot to play with. So describe what happens in Alberta.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I learned from playing football pretty much all around Canada is just that East Coast is a scene where a lot of people are based on speed, and you only see a couple guys with that power background. But in Alberta, it's a power-based area. There's a lot of farmers, a lot of guys coming from the States. It's just a scene where everybody's hungry, everybody's strong lifting. They incorporate that in our high schools. Our school had the chance to go down to the States a couple times a year to play against a couple of Div 1 and Div 2 high schools. And as I remember, every year that I played, we came out number one playing against those teams.
That's awesome. And, it just goes to show you that there is talented Canadians here, and no matter what province you go to, and it shows that it's showing up in youth sports currently right now. Now, before we get on to all the youth sports stuff, talk to us about the transition from you moving from Alberta, getting here to Ottawa, Ontario, and then finally attending St. Peter's.
Yeah, well, my dad's in the RCMP, so it was no surprise that we transferred over to the Ottawa region. Having my last season, I made sure that it was one of my best. Definitely I got Division I linebacker All-Star in Southern Alberta, which was an amazing achievement I was happy to get. I transitioned over to St. Pete's, and I had a week to talk with Coach Mick about the football team. I wanted to see where the guys were, like the process and the level of competitiveness. And then once my school year started in grade 12, I was going through a lot, and I told Coach Mick, I don't want to give up football. I love the sport so much, but he was lucky enough to be super understanding, and he always had my side when it came to the sport. Never missed a practice or nothing like that, and I just gave him my all. He gave me his all and his understanding, so I just returned the favor to him.
Absolutely. And, let's talk about that season. A little anomaly, of course, St. Pete's is perennially an OHSF team, however, decided to go Tier 1 that year in 2018, I believe, or 2017.
2018, yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, they just took a year based on some circumstances that were happening, but still had a very powerhouse football team. And I again, pretty much went through the league, just didn't get to go to OHSF. Talk about that one.
Well, I definitely think that our team could have competed and could have competed really well in the OHSF league. I definitely think we should have, but I trust Coach Mick's process, and I never doubted him for doing anything that he did. And I can't speak on his behalf of if he wished that we were in OHSF, but I definitely do wish we were. It would have been a completely different level of achievement to be playing against teams in that league. But for one of the teams that we've played with, all I know is that our coaches trusted us. We practiced hard, And anytime I was on the field, I was just focusing on dominating someone, and I had a goal every game, just take two guys' heads off.
Well, it was clearly something that did happen, because that culminated in a Defensive Player of the Year award in OHSF, and I do remember sitting there seeing you take that award, and that was something well deserved, because if we look at the track record of that season, St. Pete's was very dominant, and it was like of course this is about you and you playing linebacker, but clearly we know that football is a team game. Can you speak to some of the guys that you played with, and the impact that they've had on you as well at St. Pete's?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm proud to say that I played with a couple of guys that are now in D1, like Kenny Mesidor, another linebacker / DN that was playing for our team. Played with Kirk. I've played with everybody, like John. I've played with all I can say is I played with a lot of guys that just went places for their own thing, and the guys that didn't, they're working and grinding on some other thing in their life. So I'm happy to say that everyone on my team, they're hard workers and they're striving to achieve something big.
Yeah, absolutely. And that being said, obviously we talked about that OHSF thing being a disappointment, but your career as a whole, definitely not a disappointment. Impact player, immediate impact, and was a top recruit automatically. I remember CFC having you ranked in the top 100, definitely high up. And let's talk about that recruiting process. As a grade 12, it's something that can be a little daunting with school and football finishing and having to go through that process. Where was your head at, and what was that about for you, and how did you end up at the school you chose?
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, basically, one thing that I found that was different out in Ottawa instead of Alberta is that Alberta's film is based out of Huddle, whereas I found that Ottawa's, you really have to make your own highlight tapes and all that. And just moving around so much, I wasn't really focused on necessarily going out of province again. Moving 3 times within the last 8 years is tough, especially as a kid. Just playing the States, I got a couple eyes from the States for Division II. I got a couple of invites to the Elite 100 in Montana or Utah or whatever. And I couldn't attend to them just because, they were last minute, cost a lot of money. But I worked with what I got. The offers in the States, they weren't full scholarships, and I didn't want to put that much on my parents. So after talking to all these recruits from around Ontario and Quebec, Coach Ryan McManus, actually, he was very caring. He's very understanding, he just let me be a recruit, where I found a lot of coaches, I love their eagerness and whatnot, but you could tell it was like a business transaction, and I wanted to be with a school that was pretty caring and understood me as my value and understood me as a player, and Coach Beck sold me on that, and ever since then I've been with Carleton University.
Beautiful. And looking at that, the eyes were clearly always in province or in Ottawa, or were there other offers from other schools that made you think, maybe I should reconsider?
Yeah, well, I had Queens, Ottawa U, Waterloo. I had a lot of offers. I originally I had my contacts in Montreal, and I had the possibility of going to Concordia, but I didn't take the offer just because I didn't want to move once again. I've been in Ottawa at that time I was in Ottawa for only a year and a half, and I figured another move. I was like,
yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to stay with a school that just honestly treated me well. Like if I found that there wasn't any school that I could have been represented good at, then I would have definitely chose out of province. That wouldn't have been an issue. And if there was no schools in Canada that I felt met my standards or met my needs, then I definitely would have had to figure something out to go to the States.
Yeah, and ending up at Carleton is no small feat either. Carleton is a great program, and as we know, within the city, they're perennially a good team in the OUA, and they're starting to make waves nationally. We're waiting on you guys to at least get to that Yates Cup berth, and maybe make the next step. But it's a very positive program, and from what we see as high school coaches, the vibe there seems to be a dog mentality, and we'd love to speak to for people who are thinking of going to Carleton, student athletes that might think about that pathway. What's going on with Carleton right now, and speak to us about your time at Carleton.
Yeah, for sure. My time at Carleton's has been pretty challenging, pretty good in a good way. Since I've been there, all the guys have always been good to me, treated me well. It's always been constant competition. And for everybody that's just watching this right now, I want to say if you're if you're looking at a school that's good, that's easy and whatnot, Carleton might not be it, because Carleton's good, but it's also really challenging, and that's because we're struggling to be the best. All our plays, it's a dog-eat-dog world. We're all working to make ourselves better. We hold each other accountable. We're always in the weight room. We're always focusing on speed training. We have amazing coaches. My defensive coordinator, we call him Coach Polo, the captain. He has an amazing mind. I'm telling you, if you're especially on defense, I'd say speak to Polo, speak to any of our coaches, and just his mindset is going to blow you away and attract you to the school. Like, we have an amazing academic standard. I don't want to bash any of the universities, but where we're located, it's just an amazing place. You can focus on university. You can focus from getting to class, to football, to film. And our guys are always held accountable for their actions. And, we're always trying to push each other to be better. Like this whole year during speed and conditioning, where a lot of guys seem to hate the most and throw up, like I was smiling the whole time, just because these guys are challenging me. And that's one thing to get better. And I could only thank our Carleton coaches and our Carleton staff just for doing that.
Yeah, and the facilities there are top notch, as you guys have that new field house, of course, with the turf and the upgrade there. And then, of course, you got the field turf and the stadium that's currently, still adding things every year. And like you said, the competitiveness is what drives you in the end. And that's something that, kids should strive for. I think the idea of coming in and thinking you're just going to start is something that's not going to be, a real thing. Now, it does happen for certain kids, but if you're coming into usually a good or great program, such as a Carleton, the idea that, you're going to have to come in and compete is a real thing, right? And talking about student athletes who strive to, get to where you are and, be dominant from high school all the way to university, can you leave them with some advice, not just the recruiting process, but in terms of life and effort and work ethic, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. All I would say is train the weight room. Like, the weight room's going to make a difference, and know what you're good at. If, for example, I'm a linebacker this year who was 6'3", 195 to 200 pounds, and I fluctuate. Sometimes I go 205, and sometimes I go to 193. And but I know that my strength is speed-based. So, of course, I focus on my strengths and whatnot, and, I'm really good in the weight room. I don't think anybody can deny that. But my gift is speed. So I focus on that on the field, and I make up for my losses in speed. So that way I can justify my actions. And so I'm going to tell you guys that whether you're power-based, speed-based, agility-based, and whatnot, work with what you got, improve yourself. Like, put yourself in situations where it's going to be one-on-one versus your strength. And just get in the weight room, talk to your coaches. Coaches are always there to help you. If you want to learn more, feel free to ask. And I know sometimes some coaches might come off as standoffish, but they have things to do too. So ask, and at the end of the day, it's going to pay off.
Absolutely, and that's great. I'm gonna have to ask Coach Clocky about your weight room ethic. I know your strength. One of your strength coaches, Coach James, there, and a good friend of mine. So I'll definitely have to check those numbers out, see where you're at. But no, man, thank you so much for this, and I really appreciate your time, and I really do believe that and Coach Mick and the rest of the coaching staffs believe that this is someone, and you were someone that had to be on this list, and we're thankful for arriving in Ottawa and being somebody who really affected and changed the scene of Ottawa high school football, and for that congratulations.
Thank you so much.
This is Coach Coventry signing off, and this is Jordan Rivet, who's currently now on the OHSF all-decade team as a linebacker. Take care, Jordan.
All right, thank you.
See you.